You have been taught your entire life that motivation is the engine of success and growth. So what does it mean when your engine shuts down completely? It might not mean that you are broken. It might mean that you have graduated. If you are wrestling with the silence that has replaced your ambition, know that this is one of the most misunderstood and sacred stages of the human journey. You are not lost. You are recalibrating. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice, and let us explore the profound possibility that your lack of drive is proof that you are finally on the right path. Part 1. The Pain of the Second Guessing. So, you have arrived in the void. You have made a kind of truce with the silence. You have accepted, at least intellectually, that this great pause, this fallow ground, is a necessary part of your transformation. You have stopped fighting the stillness, and for a while, there may have been a sense of relief in that surrender. But now, a new and more insidious enemy has begun to creep in through the cracks in the silence. It doesn't come with the thunder of the old panic. It comes as a whisper. A sly, reasonable, and deeply unsettling whisper of doubt. It sounds like this: okay, but what if you're just fooling yourself? What if this sacred pause is just a spiritual justification for laziness? What if this isn't a chrysalis? What if it's just depression? A breakdown? And you're putting a pretty label on it to avoid facing the truth. How long is this supposed to last? A week? A year? What if you get stuck like this forever, a ghost in your own life, unable to act, unable to create, just waiting? This is the pain of the second guessing. It is the voice of the old programming, the voice of the collective world, trying to pull you back into its paradigm. The world understands ambition. It understands depression. It does not understand the fertile void. And because you are still connected to that world, its values echo in your mind. You look at your to-do list, still undone. You see your creative projects gathering dust. You feel the forward momentum of the world rushing past you, and you are standing still. And the guilt begins to set in. A heavy, sticky guilt that tells you that you are failing, that you are wasting your life, that you are letting yourself and others down. The initial piece of surrender begins to erode, replaced by a subtle, gnawing anxiety. You start to analyze your own stillness, dissecting it, judging it. You desperately search for signs that this is a real, spiritual state and not just a personal failure. You might even try to force yourself to do something, anything, just to prove to that whispering voice that you are not, in fact, broken or lazy. But the action feels hollow, forced. The old fuel is simply not there, and trying to start the engine only results in a sputtering, painful noise. So you are caught in a new kind of trap. Not the trap of fighting the void, but the trap of judging it. You are judging your restfulness, critiquing your stillness, pathologizing your peace. You have escaped the outer battlefield only to find a more subtle saboteur has set up camp inside your own headquarters. And its primary weapon is that one powerful question: are you sure this is the right path? Part 2. The Refined Palate of the Soul. Let us address that question directly. Let us meet that whispering doubt not with fear, but with a radical, liberating truth. Your lack of motivation is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is the clearest possible sign that you are on the right one. It is not proof of your failure. It is the evidence of your success. To understand this, we must re-examine what motivation truly is. For most of our lives, what we call motivation is not an inspirational pull from a higher place. It is a desperate push from a place of fear. It is the frantic energy of the ego, trying to arrange the outer world in a way that will finally make it feel safe, worthy, or whole. Think about it. The motivation to get the perfect grade was fueled by the fear of being seen as a failure. The motivation to climb the corporate ladder was fueled by the need for external validation and security. The motivation to find the perfect partner was fueled by the fear of being alone. Even the motivation to become enlightened was often fueled by a desperate desire to escape your own inner pain. This is ego motivation. And it is powered by the fuel of not enough. Not good enough, not safe enough, not whole enough. It is an incredibly powerful fuel, but it is dirty. It burns hot and creates a constant byproduct of stress, anxiety, and a feeling of perpetual striving. The post-awakening void, this space you are in, is what happens when you run out of that dirty fuel. Through your hard work, your self-inquiry, your moments of grace, you have begun to heal the fundamental wound of not enough. You have had glimpses, or perhaps a full-blown realization, that you are already whole, already worthy, already safe in your deepest being. And so, the ego's entire reason for being, its primary motivation to fix your life, has been dismantled. You have, in essence, developed a refined spiritual palate. You can no longer stomach the junk food of fear-based motivation. It tastes like poison to you now. Your soul simply refuses to be moved by it anymore. Your lack of motivation is not a sign of laziness. It is the sign of your soul's integrity. It is your entire being, on a cellular level, staging a quiet and powerful protest, saying, I will no longer move for fear. I will no longer act for external validation. I will no longer scramble to prove my worth. I will wait. I will rest here in the truth of my own being, until an impulse arises from a cleaner, purer, more authentic source. You are not unmotivated. You are simply waiting for a higher quality fuel. You are waiting for inspiration, for a call, for an impulse that is not a push away from fear, but a joyful pull towards purpose. The silence you are experiencing is not the silence of apathy. It is the silence of discernment. It is the quiet confidence of a soul that knows it is worthy of a better reason to act. Part 3. Comparing the energetic signature. That voice of doubt in your head is very convincing, because it speaks the language of the world you used to live in. To truly anchor yourself in this new truth, you must learn to trust a deeper source of intelligence. Not your thoughts, but the direct wisdom of your body. The energetic signature of your own life force. So, for a moment, let us do a comparison. A side-by-side energetic analysis. If you can, allow your eyes to close. If not, simply bring your awareness fully inward. First, I want you to travel back in time. Not to a specific memory, but to the general feeling of your past. I want you to remember what it felt like to be fully in the grip of ego motivation. Remember what it felt like to be striving, chasing, desperately trying to succeed. Conjure that state in your body right now. Remember the feeling of an impending deadline, the frantic race against the clock. Feel that familiar clench in your gut, that tightness in your jaw. It's the energy of adrenaline, of cortisol. It's a fight or flight energy. Notice its temperature. It's hot, isn't it? A hot, prickly, anxious energy. Notice its sound. It's loud. A buzzing, chaotic, staticky noise in your head. Notice its texture. It's sharp, jagged, and relentless. This was the energy that you called motivation. This was the state that your culture praised as drive and ambition. You may have achieved a great deal while powered by this energy, but be honest. Was it peaceful? Did it feel like love? Or did it feel like war? Just hold the memory of that energetic signature for a moment. The hot, loud, sharp, anxious push. Now, let it go. Release it with an exhale. And come back to this present moment. Come back to the state you are in right now. The state you have been judging as apathy or laziness. And feel its qualities. Feel the stillness in your body. The absence of that frantic, forward-pushing energy. What is its temperature? It's not hot. It's cool, or neutral. The temperature of calm. What is its sound? It's not loud. It is quiet. A low hum, or perhaps a profound silence. The sound of space. What is its texture? It is not sharp and jagged. It is smooth, vast, and even. The texture of an untroubled lake. Now, compare the two. The old energy of striving, and the new energy of stillness. The hot, loud, sharp state of ego motivation, and the cool, quiet, smooth state of the void. Which one feels more like fear? And which one feels more like peace? Which one feels more like a prison? And which one feels more like freedom? The whispering voice of doubt in your head will tell you that the quiet state is dangerous, that it's a sign of failure. But your body knows the truth. Your body knows that this new state, this lack of the old frantic energy, is the first true rest it has had in your entire life. It is your nervous system finally coming out of a decades-long state of emergency. Your lack of motivation is not a psychological problem. It is a physiological healing. It is the palpable feeling of a nervous system that is no longer being hijacked by the fear-based thoughts of the ego. You are not lazy. You are healing. And this quiet, cool, spacious feeling is the very signature of that healing. Trust it. Trust the wisdom of your body over the outdated programming of your mind. Part 4. The Lineage of Wisdom. This journey you are on, this frightening, disorienting, and ultimately liberating journey from the known to the unknown, is the perennial path of all true transformation. You feel lost because you have left the old maps behind, and you have not yet learned to navigate by the stars. This is a sacred and necessary stage of the journey. The great spiritual philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti spoke about this with uncompromising clarity. He taught that true freedom is freedom from the known. The known is our past, our conditioning, our memories, our ambitions, our entire structure of the self. He understood that the human mind clings to the known, even when the known is a prison of suffering, because it is terrified of the unknown. Krishnamurti said, "Real freedom is freedom from the opinion of others. Above all, freedom from your own opinion about yourself. Let that penetrate. The motivation you have lost was entirely built upon the opinion of others, and your own opinion of yourself based on their metrics of success. You were motivated to act in a way that would garner a positive opinion and avoid a negative one. To lose that motivation is the first step in finding real freedom. It means you are no longer willing to be a slave to the approval of the world. To be in the void, to be without the old motivation, is to be, perhaps for the first time, in a state of not knowing. And not knowing is the prerequisite for all true discovery. You cannot discover a new continent by clinging to the shores of the old one. You cannot see what is new as long as your mind is filled with what is old. The Zen Buddhist tradition has revered this state of not knowing for centuries. They call it Shoshin, or beginner's mind. It is the practice of approaching every moment without the arrogance of expertise, without the baggage of past experience. The expert's mind is closed, filled with conclusions. The beginner's mind is open, empty, and ready to see things as they truly are. Your lack of motivation is a divinely orchestrated entry into beginner's mind. Your old expertise was in how to succeed in the world of the ego. You were an expert at striving, at achieving, at pleasing. Now, that field of expertise has been rendered obsolete by your own spiritual growth. You are being forced to become a beginner again. A beginner in the art of living from a different place entirely. A beginner in the art of listening to the silence. This is not a regression. It is an elevation. You have graduated from the old school. The curriculum of fear is complete. And now you sit in the quiet, empty classroom, waiting for the new teacher to arrive. But the new teacher does not shout instructions. The new teacher is the silence itself. Its curriculum is taught in whispers, in subtle pulls of curiosity, in moments of unexpected joy, in the quiet resonance of your own heart. When the doubt whispers, "You don't know what you're doing," you can now smile and answer with the wisdom of the sages. Yes. For the first time, I am blessed with the freedom of not knowing. And so, I am finally ready to learn something true. Part 5. The Parable of the Boat Builder. Sometimes, to truly understand the logic of our own journey, we need to see it reflected in a story. Let us imagine a man who awakens one day to find himself on a small, barren island. All he can see in every direction is a vast, empty ocean. The island is desolate. There are a few scraggly trees, some rocks, and little else. And in his heart, a single, all-consuming motivation is born: I must escape. I must get off this island. This motivation becomes his life. He is driven by a profound sense of lack, by the deep belief that happiness, safety, and life itself are out there, across the water. The island is his prison. The ocean is the barrier. So he begins to work. He teaches himself how to fell the trees. He learns to strip the bark, to shape the wood. He discovers how to weave fibers for rope, how to seal the hull. His every waking moment is consumed by his project. He is driven, focused, relentless. This is his ambition. His hands become calloused, his body grows strong. He becomes a master craftsman, a brilliant boat builder. He is not motivated by the love of boat building. He is motivated by the desperation to escape his barren reality. 4 years, this is his life. The boat is his only purpose. As he works, however, something unintentional begins to happen. The process of building the boat changes the island. The wood chips from his work decompose, creating rich soil. In this new soil, seeds that were dormant for years begin to sprout. The shade from the half-finished boat protects these delicate sprouts from the harsh sun. His need for fresh water leads him to dig a well, which irrigates the land around it. The rhythm of his work, his presence, his focused energy, begins to transform the very island he is trying to escape. But he doesn't notice. He is too focused on his goal, finishing the boat. And then, the day comes. The boat is finished. It is a masterpiece of craftsmanship, strong, beautiful, and perfectly seaworthy. It is his triumph. The culmination of his life's motivation. He stands before it, his heart pounding with a sense of victory. The moment of his escape has finally arrived. He turns around to take one last look at the desolate island he is so desperate to leave behind. And he freezes. He sees that the island is no longer barren. It has become a paradise. A lush, green, vibrant garden. There are fruit trees heavy with food, a spring of clear water, beautiful flowers he has never seen before. The very act of trying to escape his reality has transformed it into the paradise he was seeking. And as he stands there, between the perfect boat and the perfect island, a profound stillness descends upon him. He looks at the boat, his ticket to freedom, the object of his every desire for years, and he feels absolutely no motivation to get in it. The push to leave is gone, because the lack that fueled it has vanished. The happiness he was chasing out there is already right here. His obsession with the future created a beautiful present. And he realizes the journey was never about the boat. The boat was just the device, the catalyst, the focal point for the work that needed to be done, right where he was. The journey was the destination. This is the story of your life. Your barren island was your old sense of lack, of not enoughness. Your boat was all your worldly ambitions, the career, the money, the success, that you believed would ferry you to the island of happiness. And you worked tirelessly. You built a magnificent boat. But in the process of that building, you transformed your inner world. Through your striving, you were forced to develop courage, resilience, wisdom. And through your spiritual seeking, you found the paradise within. And now you stand here, in the post-awakening void, looking at the boat you built, at all the worldly goals you used to cherish, and you feel no motivation to set sail. Because you have already arrived. The problem the boat was built to solve, your own unhappiness, has been resolved at its source. Your lack of motivation is not a sign that you are stuck. It is the ultimate sign that you are finally home. Part 6. The Vow of Trust. Do you see yourself in the story of the boat builder? Do you feel that resonance of having built a life you no longer feel the need to escape from? If this perspective begins to quiet that whispering voice of doubt, I invite you to deepen your commitment to this journey of integration. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. This isn't just a channel, it is a harbor for the boat builders who have found their island. It's a space to learn how to live in the paradise you have cultivated, a community that understands that true arrival often looks like standing still. And now, we must move from a passive understanding to an active embodiment of this truth. We must make a new vow. Not a vow of action, but a vow of trust. A conscious decision to stop judging your stillness by the old metrics of striving. The voice of doubt is persistent because it is an old, deeply grooved habit. To counteract it, you must plant a new seed, a new belief, and water it every single day. This is an act of profound self-love, a declaration of faith in your own soul's wisdom. Find your center. Feel the quiet stability of the island you are standing on. You are no longer on barren rock. You are on fertile ground. And from this place of inner resource, I invite you to make this sacred vow to yourself. I, in the presence of my own awakened heart, now see that my former motivation was a beautiful and necessary tool that has completed its work. I honor it for the strength it gave me and the paradise it helped me build. I now release the need to be moved by the energy of fear, lack, or the desire for external approval. I release the belief that my worth is measured by my productivity. I release my attachment to the old maps and the old ways of navigating my life. From this moment forward, I make a vow of active trust. I trust in the stillness. I trust in the void. I trust that this quiet is not apathy, but integration. It is not emptiness, but replenishment. It is not an ending, but a sacred fallow season before a new kind of spring. Now, let's make this intensely practical. When the voice of doubt arises and tells me I am being lazy, I will meet it with this truth. I am not lazy, I am healing. I am conserving my energy for a higher purpose. When the world screams at me to get motivated, I will silently affirm, I am motivated by a different source now. I am motivated by peace, by love, by inspiration, and I am willing to wait for its call. Take a deep breath and let this new vow settle into your bones. Feel the quiet strength in it. This is not a passive resignation. It is an active, courageous, and profound act of faith in the process of your own becoming. You are telling your entire system that it is safe to rest, it is safe to not know, it is safe to simply be. You are giving yourself the one thing you have been withholding for your entire life, unconditional permission to be exactly where you are. And in that permission, you will find the seeds of your next, most authentic chapter. Part 7. The Sacred Chrysalis. You have made the vow to trust. You have begun to see your stillness not as a failure, but as a homecoming. To solidify this trust, we must zoom in on the biological and metaphysical process that is actually occurring within you. You are not just resting. You are undergoing a complete metamorphosis. You are in the sacred chrysalis. Think of the life of a caterpillar. It has one clear, undeniable motivation. One purpose that drives its every moment: to consume. It eats, it grows, it crawls. Its entire existence is a linear path of accumulation. This is the perfect metaphor for the life of the ego. It is driven by a constant hunger for more success, more knowledge, more security. It is a life of crawling on the surface of things, consuming experiences, and growing the personality. Then, one day, an inner impulse that the caterpillar cannot understand compels it to stop. It hangs itself upside down, sheds its skin one last time, and forms a chrysalis around itself. From the outside, all activity ceases. The relentless forward motion, the constant eating, the very motivation that defined its entire life, is gone. If you were to judge the chrysalis by the standards of the caterpillar, you would call it a catastrophic failure. It is not moving. It is not eating. It is not productive. It is, by all the old metrics, dead. This is how the world, and your old mind, judges your void. But what is happening inside the chrysalis is the farthest thing from death. It is one of the most miraculous acts of transformation in all of nature. The caterpillar's body literally dissolves into a rich, primordial soup. A process of complete destructuring. The old form must be entirely unmade before the new can be born. This is your void. It is the period of sacred dissolution. The old personality structure, the ego that was powered by fear and lack, is being broken down into its essential energy. It feels like you are losing everything, that you are disappearing into nothingness, because the you thought you were is disappearing. But hidden within that primordial soup are tiny things called imaginal cells. These cells have been dormant within the caterpillar its whole life. They are different. They hold the blueprint, the divine memory, of a completely different creature. They hold the code for the butterfly. At first, the caterpillar's immune system attacks these imaginal cells, seeing them as foreign invaders. Just as your old ego programming attacks your new feelings of peace and stillness, seeing them as a threat. But the imaginal cells persist. They begin to find each other. They clump together, resonate with each other, and begin to build the new form, using the dissolved soup of the old caterpillar as raw material. They build the eyes, the antennae, the legs, and finally, the magnificent, folded wings. This is what is happening inside your stillness. Your own imaginal cells, your soul's true essence, your higher self, your divine blueprint, are finally at work. The energy that was once used for crawling is now being used for the infinitely more complex task of growing wings. So you see, your lack of motivation to crawl on the ground is the most logical, natural, and necessary symptom of your transformation. Your system is not broken. It is engaged in the most important work of your life. To try and force yourself to be motivated like a caterpillar while you are in the chrysalis is to interrupt the sacred process of growing your wings. Your only job right now is to honor the chrysalis, to trust the dissolution, to protect the sacred space where this miracle is unfolding, and to know that the stillness is the very incubator of your flight. Part 8. Trusting the process. To consciously honor the chrysalis requires a new set of life skills. The old tools of pushing, planning, and forcing are not only useless here, they are counterproductive. The new tools are those of trust, surrender, and deep listening. These are the rituals that will support your metamorphosis. The first ritual, the resonance compass. You have lost your old map, so you must learn to use a new, internal compass. This compass does not work with logic, it works with feeling. It is the simple, binary feedback of your own life force. We will call it the resonance compass. From now on, before making a choice, any choice, from what to eat for lunch, to whether to take a phone call, to which book to read, you will pause. You will quiet your mind, and you will ask your body a simple question: does the thought of this expand my energy, or contract it? An expansive feeling is a sense of opening, lightness, a subtle yes. It might feel like warmth in your chest, a sense of relief, or a gentle spark of curiosity. A contractive feeling is a sense of tightening, dread, heaviness. It might feel like a knot in your stomach, a closing of your throat, or a feeling of deep resistance. Your practice is to honor the expansion, even if it makes no logical sense. Maybe your mind says you should work on your resume, but the thought of it feels heavy and contractive. And the thought of sitting in the garden and doing nothing feels light and expansive. You follow the expansion. You go to the garden. You are training yourself to navigate reality using the guidance system of your soul, not the outdated logic of your ego. The more you trust the feeling of expansion, the more your soul will trust you with clearer signals, leading you, step by gentle step, into your new life. The second ritual, the practice of active permission. The voice of guilt can be relentless. The feeling that you should be doing something is a powerful, conditioned reflex. This ritual is designed to consciously override it, transforming your rest from a passive state into a sovereign choice. Once a day, perhaps in the morning, find a quiet moment. Place a hand on your heart, and speak to your own system as its loving, conscious leader. You will give it active, explicit permission to be in this state. Say, either silently or aloud, "Today, I give my body, my mind, and my soul full and unconditional permission to rest. I give myself permission to not know. I give myself permission to be unproductive by the world's standards. I recognize that this stillness is not laziness, but a profound and necessary work of integration and healing. I actively choose to surrender to this process. I trust it completely." Feel the power in this. You are not a victim of apathy. You are the grantaire of sacred rest. You are consciously creating a sanctuary of safety within yourself, a space where the chrysalis can do its work, free from the bien of your own self-judgment. This active permission transforms the quality of your stillness from one of guilty waiting to one of dignified, purposeful being. The third ritual, the diary of evidence. The old mind is a master debater, and it loves to build a case file against you, filled with evidence of your failure. This ritual is how you build a competing case file, a file filled with evidence that the new way is working. Get a journal, and call it your diary of evidence, or book of trust. Each evening, before you sleep, your practice is to find and write down just one piece of evidence from your day that proves the wisdom of the void. It can be very small. For example, today, because I wasn't forcing myself to work, a completely unexpected and creative idea for my project floated into my mind. Today, in the middle of doing nothing, I felt a wave of profound peace and gratitude that I haven't felt in years. Today, by following a tiny spark of curiosity, I had a conversation that opened a new possibility. Today, by resting, I had the energy to be truly present with a loved one. You are training your mind to look for the evidence you want to find. You are consciously directing its focus away from what is not happening, the old hustle, and toward what is happening, the new, subtle magic. Over time, this diary will become a powerful testament to the truth of this journey. On days when the doubt is strong, you can read back through its pages and remind yourself, with your own evidence, that you are, indeed, on the right path. Part 9. The Physics of Pull. You are learning to trust the process. You are tending to your chrysalis. As you deepen into this new way of being, you will begin to notice that the fundamental laws of how your life operates have changed. You have graduated from one reality, with one set of physical laws, into another. The reality of the ego, the world of the caterpillar, operates on the physics of push. To get anything done, you had to apply force. You had to push your will against the world. You had to push yourself out of bed, push through your resistance, push projects to completion, push your way through crowds. It was a life of effort, of strain, of friction. It was a Newtonian world of action and reaction, where you, the separate self, had to be the perpetual engine for every single outcome. And it was utterly exhausting. The reality of the soul, the world of the butterfly, operates on a completely different law. It operates on the physics of pull. In this new reality, you do not create through force, but through resonance. You don't have to push. You simply have to be. By holding a certain state of being, by embodying a certain frequency of consciousness, you become a magnetic center. The things, people, and experiences that are in alignment with that frequency are then pulled toward you, effortlessly. This is why your old motivation no longer works. It was a push technology. You are now being asked to learn a pull technology. This is why the resonance compass you are learning to use is so vital. The feeling of expansion is the feeling of your soul saying yes to something that is in vibrational alignment with your true path. The feeling of contraction is your soul saying no to something that is not. Your feelings, not your logical mind, are your new navigation system in this quantum reality. The boat builder didn't have to sail his boat to find paradise. His dedicated being in one place transformed the island around him. He didn't push the world to change. His own inner state pulled a new reality into manifestation. This is the great secret of creation that is revealed in the void. You are not here to chase butterflies. You are here to cultivate the inner garden of your own being so exquisitely that the butterflies have no choice but to come to you. The inspiration you have been waiting for will not feel like the old motivation. It will not be a hot, anxious push. It will be a gentle, undeniable pull. A quiet curiosity that you can't shake. A sudden idea that brings a feeling of lightness and joy. A chance meeting that feels like a homecoming. Your work is no longer to be the engine. Your work is to become the most purely resonant, authentic, and peaceful version of yourself you can be. To tend to the garden of your own nervous system. To keep your inner state clear and uncluttered. And then, to watch with wonder as the universe rearranges itself around your new frequency. The lack of the old motivation is the ultimate sign that you are being invited to master this new, more graceful, and infinitely more powerful physics of reality. You are not failing. You are learning to fly. Part 10. The Joy of Trusting Yourself. And so we arrive here. In the quiet heart of the chrysalis. We have calmed the voice of doubt. We have honored the sacredness of this process. We have learned the new physics of being. And now, all that is left is to allow the final, transformative emotional release that this new understanding offers. Bring your awareness into your body one last time. Feel the stillness. Feel the quiet. For so long, you have equated this feeling with danger. You have judged it, feared it, and fought it. You have carried the heavy burden of believing that you were failing, that you were broken, that you were doing life wrong. The war you have been fighting has not just been with your lack of motivation. It has been a war of self-trust. Every time you judged your stillness, you were taking the side of the outer world against your own inner wisdom. You were betraying your soul's process in favor of the ego's timeline. You were telling yourself, I cannot be trusted. My natural state is flawed. My inner guidance is leading me astray. The climax of this journey is the moment you finally, unconditionally, come home to your own side. It is the moment you stop seeking validation from the outside world and give it, in its entirety, to yourself. It is the profound epiphany that this lack of motivation for the old games is not a flaw you need to fix, but the very proof of your own liberation. It is the undeniable evidence that you have healed. You no longer need to be motivated by fear because you are no longer afraid. You no longer need to be motivated by lack because you have found your own wholeness. Can you feel the immense relief in that? Let it wash over you. The permission to finally, truly, deeply trust yourself. To trust your own process. To trust your own timing. To trust that the part of you that is orchestrating this rest is infinitely wiser than the part of you that is panicking about it. This is the joy that lies on the other side of fear. It is not a loud, ecstatic joy. It is a deep, quiet, unshakable joy. It is the joy of profound self-acceptance. It is the joy of the tree that does not berate itself for being dormant in winter, but trusts in the coming of spring. It is the joy of the chrysalis, resting in the absolute certainty of its own winged destiny. Let go of the fight. Let go of the judgment. Let go of the belief that you should be somewhere else, feeling something else. And just for this moment, fall into complete alignment with what is. Fall into a state of absolute trust with the wisdom that guides you from within. The lack of motivation to crawl on the ground is the most definitive sign that your wings are growing. Trust them. Trust yourself. You are not failing. You are becoming. This quiet trust is the ground upon which your new life will be built. If this journey has helped you find that trust within yourself, then help us share this message of validation with a world that is so often lost in self-judgment. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. Like and share this journey. Every interaction you make strengthens the signal for others who are in their own sacred chrysalis, letting them know that they are not alone and that their stillness is a sign of their own beautiful becoming. Thank you for your courage to trust. Rest in this knowing. The greatest adventures are born not from frantic pushing, but from a deep and patient trust.